So before people just say random things I read everywhere, that's the reason.
I've ridden the Giant Revolt all over the world, but this one's a bit different.
The two quietest people I've ever met in my entire life just walked in. Should we build your bike? Let's put it in the stand to start off with. That's surprisingly light, even with that hanging on. Because you can't look after things, we have to put everything more durable on your bike. So, stainless steel headset bearings to start off with. Lifetime warranty. I'm curious to see if that lasts for you. So in theory, these headset bearings should last you a lot longer because they're made of 440C stainless steel. The same grade steel Chris King uses, and they come with a lifetime warranty. Redshift kitchen sink. This is like my least favorite thing to do, bizarrely, in building bikes. Fitting stems or handlebars. It's just nothing is straightforward. It's not hard, but it's just it's annoying. You have to line them up and then get the bolts evenly tightened. Start there, and then we can adjust as we go. Oh, that's gonna be a problem. Torque wrench doesn't fit. That's right, we'll just struggle. I should probably get my other torque wrench out, shouldn't I?
Probably.
I don't know why I'm struggling with this one. But I'm stubborn, you know, I've started, I've gone too far, so there's no point in going back, is there? So we'll just continue, stay the course. I keep thinking I should give up on this, but I'm not. There we go. Okay, that's on, that's on, that's on, that's on. That's really cool that they've provided this. Kudos, Giant. You've got a shim, so you can run 3.9 or 27.2.
Is there anything that we need to do differently for my saddle height with a suspension seat post compared to just a rigid one?
Yes, so generally, as a rule of thumb, I play around with it slightly, but what I would say is, as a starting point, raise your saddle height by 5 mil, so that when you sit on it, it damps down to where it needs to be. If you are a lot heavier, I take mine up probably about 8 mil. Yeah. You can leave that I really need a new stand in the video if you want. Hopefully somebody sends me a new stand. Everybody goes on about you shouldn't put grease in carbon frames when putting in a press fit PB. Now, I can firstly tell you that if you did that, your bike up here is going to make a horrible creaking noise. You can use a retaining compound to essentially glue your bottom bracket into the frame. But if you're running something like a standard SRAM BB or a token or something that isn't going to last incredibly long, and you do that, you are then going to have an issue. Every time you want to take it out, you can slightly damage the frame as well. The other issue is, yours is XT15, the bottom bracket never needs servicing, but the way you wind stuff, I still want to take it out every now and then. If you want to clean it properly, it needs to come out of the frame. So I don't want to knock the retaining compound out every single time. What everybody seems to forget is, the reason you can't use, or you're not supposed to use grease on carbon frames is, 20 years ago, there was an issue with mineral oil and some greases used to react with some of the resin they used to use on or the lacquer on top of the carbon, and they used to deteriorate that. Modern grease, modern frames, it's not a problem. So before people just say random things I read everywhere, that's the reason. Because I want to be able to take it out without knocking it out down the line. And also don't want your bike to creak while riding it. If you're lucky you stay somewhere dry and it doesn't creak, then well, that's great. But generally speaking, grease is better. As long as you use a good grease. And your frame's not 100 years old. And then you need 5 millimeters of spacers. I'll invoice you for that, obviously. Nothing in life's free, Josh. Take this off quickly. Auntie sees this. Sorry. And have you washed a mountain bike since you rode with Rich last week?
Yes.
Just a quick tip, because I've got a lot of people ask me, and you're not sure what spacers to run. On their website, right at the bottom, under technical documents for dub, there is a spacer chart that'll tell you exactly what size spacers you need to use. I always say to people, use a chart as a guideline. If you don't come right, just check it afterwards still. Don't just believe that it's right. But for most bikes, in most cases, if your frame is made correctly, it will be fine. Excellent, bottom brackets in. What do you want to do next? Pulley wheels.
Yeah, pulley wheels would be a good shout.
Like, practically building you the most indestructible bike. Josh proof. Like how adventurous you are with stuff. You just try things. Like I buy new camera equipment and then like I have it for months before I even use it because I first want to test it on stuff. You just go deep in your new bike for the season and it's just, let's just go full on.
Would you advise someone to do a race straight away on a brand new bike?
No, never, ever, ever. But you're not going to do a race straight away.
I am.
You can ride.
Friday.
Yeah, that's Friday. You can ride it today, you can ride it tomorrow. You've got a whole week to ride it.
I suppose, yeah.
I get people come in, like, do stuff, and then the next day, the first time they ride the bike, and you're like, that's just not clever at all. Because everything beds in slightly. Everything. All your bearing stuff, all your preloads need to be adjusted slightly. You can't just... Well, it's a very stupid thing to do. Definitely wouldn't advise it. These are excellent, by the way. So I've been running SRAM, like a mullet setup, for 5 years now. I've tried loads of different ceramic, non-ceramic, cheap jockey wheels, their jockey, different ones, and I just keep wearing them out. Like I go through about 2 or 3 sets a year, where I've now for 2 years, I've had my XD15 ones on. These come with a lifetime warranty on the bearings, but also a lifetime warranty on the teeth. This is going much smoother than... See, it's much easier than servicing your bikes because I don't have like a million things to fix. It's just new, which is it's actually surprisingly really nice. Cool.
How's training for Dirty River going?
Let's just say it's going. Whether it's going well or not is a completely different story, but it's going. I'm riding. I did 8 and a bit hours last week that I recorded, which isn't loads, but it's better than nothing. But I did 3 rides where I didn't have a head unit or my watch on, so but they wouldn't have been mega long. So I reckon in total I did about 10 hours last week. So I'm up on my 8 a week I'm supposed to be doing. So I'll just see what kind of. I did 102k on Saturday with like some serious gravel with you. Obviously you took a shortcut because you're not the endurance athlete that I'm, aspiring to be.
So usually this would be an upgrade from a wheel that's bearings are worn out.
Well, no, not necessarily. Yes, it is an upgrade, but I generally on my own wheel, it's very expensive. So the stainless steel ones I think are excellent. If you know you're going to ride the wheels for a long time or do crazy stuff like you do, I would do them straight away. The big thing with the XD15 wheel bearings is that they don't need servicing at all. So you can run them completely dry. If the seals get really dry, they'll have a bit of drag on them. But if you just oil them something, then it just keeps going. But it's like it's a kind of wheel bearings you stick in, and then in theory leave in for 10 years plus. So if you keep the wheels that long. So the ones in my Zips that I've been running as my main wheels for the last 4 years now, they've been on, I've had the wheels 5 years, but a year in after just replacing bearings all the time. I've done so about 3.5 years on the same bearings. I've not taken them out or cleaned them yet. So
yeah. what bearings have we taken out? And
just normal bearings. I don't know, the standard ones that giant fits to the wheels. There's nothing wrong with them if you lived in a dry country and corrosion doesn't affect it and you look after the wheel fairly well. But for somebody like you who do not look after stuff, it's just no brainer. But it is expensive. I mean, you're looking at close to £100 bearing. Work on the flip side where I've been testing stuff where wheels that I don't run them on, for me, for normal chromium steel bearings, I can go through about 5 or 6 sets a year. So if you think of those bearings costing 10 quid each, that becomes to 50, 60 quid a bearing already. Then if you factor in labor costs, luckily I don't have to pay that because I do it myself, but if you're not doing it yourself and taking it to a bike shop and getting them to fit it for you, a generally speaking rough indication is £30 per hub. That amount of money ramps up really quickly. Then also take into factor that your free body starts wearing, if your bearings collapse, your end caps wear, your wheel's not going straight, it just causes loads of issues. So for me, it's, yeah. As a bare minimum, always fit stainless steel. If you've got the spare disposable money, go for the XT15.
Well, it's an investment in not having to look after your bike.
But you have to take into, well, you shouldn't not look after your bike though. 6902, excellent. And 6802. Somebody's been messing around with my stuff again, Joshua.
But it's more something that, on a trip point of view.
For you, it's a no-brainer, yes, because you ride this. Like when you did your China trip, you were very lucky, I think, in my opinion. But the fact that you just don't have to worry is, yeah, that peace of mind.
So for Tour Divide.
Yes, it's 100%. Because you don't want to like plan all of this, years of getting everything ready, do it, go there, and then like, yeah, wheel bearing collapses or bottom. You just don't want things to go wrong. But like I say, it is pricey. It's not cheap, but it's not supposed to be. I mean, it's not easy to make, and it's not for everyone. Okay, free body ones. 6802, 6802. Don't want to forget to put that in. I'm really bad for forgetting to put that in.
What
a little shim in the middle. For this one, I never use this. But to actually make a shorter one for pivots and things so you don't have to thread as far. If you wanted to use it that way around. So you can just go like that. Pop on your bearing. Put a tiny bit of grease on the outside. That slides on. And that. Smooth. And then this side. And this is why you keep everything together. That one with the new XT15 bearings. That. And cap on. Excellent. And light dusting of grease on there. So. .6 Newton meters exactly. Okay. Very well done. I'm suffering from terrible asthma at the moment, so I can't breathe properly. And I can't believe you've dragged me out of my deathbed over here to come and build your bike because you want to go ride Dale's Divide. And all I want to do is just down piece. Some guy complained on my video saying there's too much bokeh, blah, blah, blah. I should just use an iPhone. So now I'm going to go even worse. I've bought a macro lens. Just, show him I don't buckle to the... Yeah, peer pressure. I've got one of them little ride shotgun seats for Catherine on my Surly. That's been loads of fun. Good training because she's heavy, so.
Grip on the front, speed on the back.
Speed on the back. This is probably one of the other things that I'm really bad at. Like, I am very, very bad at fitting tires on the wrong way around. And I look at the arrows, check everything, put the tire on, and then after I've put it on, realize that it's wrong. This also is a new thing that absolutely cracks me in the cycling industry. Can you get my tape measure? So, you measure the logo, roughly 31 centimeters, meaning 15.5 is the middle. So the middle of the logo is the N. But then that's on that side. Could they not add some pictures in, or take that one out from there and put it on this side, and then have the actual colorful bit as the center? Gets even worse, because if I fit it perfectly on the N, which is there, if you look closely, through the middle of it, if I was to draw a straight line, the logos aren't on the same way. So on my last video, loads of people are complaining about the Maxxis tire logos not lining up, but if you look closely at the video, that indicates all the badges and all that stuff perfectly line up. It's just the two logos are pointed askew. So I think we should just start putting the logos anyway and not bother with the valves anymore. It'll really upset all the OCD people like myself. And then see what happens. Always shake your sealant before you put it in. There's a bit of wisdom for you, Joshua. I do love Hutchinson Tyres for tubeless though, I have to say. They work well for tubeless. Oh, look, these ones are closer. Okay. Done.
Is that a recommended thing to do?
I would just say grease every single thread in your bike. Well, within reason. But anything that's going to come in and out. Through axles is definitely one that needs to be threaded. Pedals, definitely thread them. Sorry, grease them. Most bolts that you're torquing up should technically have a bit of anti-seize or grease on them. Otherwise, you're dry torquing them, which is completely going to give you a completely different reading to wet torquing the bolts. But yeah, for through axles, just grease them. You just don't want it to seize in. The only place where I don't really mess about, where you could do it, but I don't, is your disc brake rotor lock rings. I just don't want to risk getting any grease near disc brake rotors.
This is the first time you've ever built a new one of my bikes. This is the first time I've never had to get my bike washed.
Oh yeah, that's the first, yeah.
Does this, you know how you were saying, like, will I ever bring a bike to you that's clean? Does this count?
Yeah, but you can't just bring new bikes. Well, if you bring a new bike every time, yeah, I mean, that might work, but it's going to be very expensive for you. Your spacing is standard for 160. So if you put your little adapter on your SRAM or Shimano front brake is 160, it pushes it to 180. So you have to do the opposite, swap it to 140, and then that brings it back down to 160. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
But if you want to run a 180 rotor, then obviously you keep it at 160. Here's another plus point of wearing white shoes in the workshop. You can stick them behind the brake rotors, so brake calipers, and then clearly see through whether your rotors are lined up or not. They're as dirty as most of your bikes. Super comfy though. Why is your chain not on the Chainring, Joshua. I can never remember if these are 5 or 4 mil. 4.
We're putting this saddle on because it's something I'm used to, something I've ridden for a while now.
Yeah, let's get a new one for your other bike, and then essentially you can weigh both into the same. Yeah. Is that a good angle for you?
Yeah, perfect.
Get you into that aggressive drop position.
I've never used a suspension seat post, so I'm excited to try this out.
I love mine, honestly. I thought it looked ridiculous. And I was like, that is just a stupid thing. I'd have the seat post before I have the stem. For comfort. My only issue that I still have is that I really love my dropper for some of the stupid things we do. So I alternate out. So week to week riding, I wear my dropper. But I was doing something like Dirty Reaver or a long event, suspension seat post goes straight back in for comfort. I'm leaving your hoses slightly longer as well, just so that because of all your bags and things, you've got more room to kind of move stuff around and figure out how you want to do it. You know, you got the wrong handlebar. The right handlebar to have is it's just too cold. Summer probably starts, I'll have it out. How many times have I fitted these things to your bikes now? Can you not just stick to one and like, you need to decide on your handlebars and then just stick with it. Because I'm sick and tired. Every single time you come in, it's like, swap them around or fit this or fit that.
They're just so good.
I know they're good, but just get one handlebar, stick to it, and then I don't have to redo it. You know what I mean? Like with yours, I don't even like measure anymore. I just know, cut here, cut there. But what I like is that like you always look for the perfect bar with like the right kind of hoods and things. But then the issue is that none of them have it. So I think you should better buy like skinny, round alloy bars and then fit these, and then you just have the best of both worlds. The one thing that I do like is like originally we used all the proper tape and stuff and the correct way of putting them on like Redshift recommends, but since I've started just doing this with electrical tape, my life is just much easier. But if you're washing it at home, this isn't the recommended way of doing it. In saying that, it works for Josh and me, so in theory it should work for everybody else. I think you should take a photo of me and put it on your channel as your new channel sponsor, because just in labor alone, I am arguably your biggest sponsor. I mean, they're £1,000 just the other day.
What do you want? Just your face on the first?
No, definitely not. I'm gonna have something else. A picture of my choosing of anything, whatever it is. I don't know what. It might be something absolutely horrendous, but yeah.
Do you need to put these on first?
No, Joshua. Joshua, you concentrate on filming. I'll concentrate on building the bike. Yeah. You do you. I'll do me. And then do you want me to do a tutorial? Look, you cut this the same as you would end handlebar tape. So for you, we're going to show the Redshift logos. So I cut it on an angle like that. It's roughly 45 degrees. Don't measure it because I might be wrong. Then on the handlebars, conveniently, can you see that? There's a little white line. So, like so. And then go around and around and around. I'm going to do something different to yours this time. I'm wrapping backwards, opposite way to what I wrap. I'm going to try something out with your handlebars. But it means that when you're hanging off these, you're very unlikely to unwrap them. Because I'm changing directions halfway through where the levers. So you've got the decals there and they're not on the fast levers. But I suppose it doesn't matter. Yeah, these are always sticky. So, soapy water or alcohol. Disc brake cleaner will work. There we go, easy clean. Something that's going to evaporate. Do not put soap in, because if it doesn't just evaporate, you have all the problems.
What bikes did you ride when you were growing up?
Giant. No, well, my first ever bike was an Ishiki Invader, which I think they had something to do with Giant. And then second bike was a Gary Fisher Piranha, which I loved. And I had that until I got my first actual proper bike, which was a Giant ATX 860. Really cool mountain bike from back in the day. And then after that, I got I'm do giant road bikes or mountain bikes. My next series of mountain bikes was a Giant NRS, Giant XCC0, Giant Anthem Advanced, another Anthem Advanced. Then I had an Orbea, Occam, and then got Stanton, and now I'm riding the Surly. Road bikes, I had, growing up, first one was a Tomasini racing alloy. Comeback Veloce on it, red with yellow decals, because obviously Mario Cipollini back then, everything was red and yellow. And then I went from that to Tomasini Premier Plus with Campag Record and Chamois version 2s. Then I went to Tomasini Fusion. Then I got a Tomasini Racing, got a Grand Ducato, a lot of Tomasinis. When I came to the UK, I got a titanium frame, which is just really badly made. I hated that bike. It was terrible to ride, absolutely terrible. Couldn't get rid of it quick enough. And then I had an Argon 18 Galleon Pro. Then I had an Orbea, an Orca. What's an Orca? No, what's the? I can't even remember the name. Anyway, I had an Orbea. And then I was changing bikes probably every 3 or 4 weeks. I got my J Gear Matalea. I kept that for 4 years. And now I've got too many bikes. Just get it out of the stand, line everything up, angle some stuff, torque some bolts, and then we can stick it back in and check the other bits over. So that's tight enough. That's tight enough. This one. Okay, this angle, put them slightly up for comfort, but obviously you can change that if needs be. Just straighten them out a little bit. Okay, there. Good. I rode long on Saturday, really enjoyed it. Had ice cream. It was a good wild ride. Got back slightly tired. I didn't eat properly. I mean, I blew up on the ride, like 40k in, not even 40k in, less. Right. Had 5 scoops of ice cream, which fixed me right up. Rode back at Greg's little pizza slice, and then just kept on riding. Okay, saddle height. Jesus, have you grown? You're not going to put some carbon paste in there, Joshua?
I think we need to.
Yes. Can't just put stuff in without lubing it up. Okay. Let's go try again. There we go. 9.8. Okay. Pay attention, right? Okay, and then set your beat limit. Touches back off a slight bit. And there's the gears. That is 258 to the left. The problem with these are people need to always check, because your bike often comes without the limit screw set at all. On mechanical gears, nothing will work. On electronic gears, the gears will still shift without them being set. So, especially the low one as well, so always check them, because at some point it'll overshift and then your change is going to go where it's not supposed to go. Brakes. It's good to go. You better win. Lunch break. Doing about to show them out. I could over. Look at that. How's it going? What's been happening?
Good to see you.
I'm not even thinking about doing that again this year.
No,
I bet the weather's going to be glorious until that day. It's going to be like minus 26 degrees.
probably that's what will happen. The best. Are you still doing the helms you want, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, I need to sort that.
Get it sorted. Get it sorted.
That's going to be a good one.
Dale's Divide this weekend is going to be the first hit out before eventually doing Tour Divide, which is from Banff in Canada, 4,500 kilometers down to Antelope Wells in New Mexico, the full continental divide of America. And Dale Divide is 600k, and it'll be a good test to see what the bike's like, get the tracker out, and yeah, just a bit of a practice before the real thing. But I'll be making a film of that, so be sure to check that out next week.